Good. Thank you. Thanks, colleagues, for joining me in a quick conversation. Let's make it a power pack conversation, right? Maybe let's get started with giving your first insights or views to say that is Gen AI a fad, or do you believe that it's already making an impact in your space? Yeah. Let's get a quick opening comments from you guys.
First of all, when you said that you are the only person standing between people and lunch, you were wrong. I wish I could also go out and have lunch now. But I think we can make it worth because probably I have a contrary view, right? But before understanding why I have a contrary view, I have to give you a background why I'm saying so. I have handled a team which has handled about heavy volumes, 5 times the volume over 5 years, and drop in headcount and work-life balance improving because we have done tons of automation, right? So much so that let's talk about what kind of this automation happen in finance. Is basically either a efficiency driving automation or a experience improving automation, and the third layer is decision making support system. Unfortunately, what I see in the industry at large, the first two gain priority over the third one, and the decision support models are not that refined as of now. So now, while using this automations, what we have done is that we have reduced our customer payment or the claim payment cycle from 15 days to 30 seconds.
Wow,
right?
Great.
This gives a straight boost to the business. Then we have reduced our unclaimed balances from about 800 crores to 54 crores.
Wow.
Let me give you the closest competitor had about, after this journey that we have done, had about 800 crores, and LIC has about 13,000 crores of unclaimed balance.
Nice.
Similarly, the customer experience also we tracked, and it has improved, and finance team for change has won some awards internationally on the customer centricity, which is rare to find. Now, why this background? Because this team has worked extensively on automation, about 30 to 40 automations every year in finance. The challenge we faced was that finance is the last one to get investment because the ROI is much higher in customer facing, production, or the sales kind of thing. Everybody talk about what would be the benefit of, let's say, implementing accounting system in finance. And now who can give this answer? Who can give a measurable answer? But the long story short is that finance get the least priority in investment. So what we started doing is we started having citizen developers. There's a latest Grant Thornton survey which says that about 88% of CFO says that their organization is either working on AI or will work in AI next year. But only 70% say that in finance, automation or the AI use will happen. Now, 4 areas where this automation is or the new age technologies are being used: AI, ML, robotics, or OCR. And bulk of the automation is in finance is happening in OCR or robotics, not AI. That's where the issue is that we basically focus on transactions. And another perspective I have is that the volume that we have in finance is not significant enough to justify large-scale investment, right? OCRs are about 60-70% accurate, not more than that. And robotic development, let's say if you want to deploy a robotics, you need to have about 14 to 15,000 invoices coming in every day, right? We don't have that kind of volume, so that also goes out from the investment. So what you are left with the small incrementals, automations, macros, workflows, etc. We have not even done that. So using AI is a next level. Now the other absolutely. 2 more points, very important points, because I'm also chairing a subcommittee in CII, which is working on digital technologies in financial reporting, as well as digital technologies in ESG supply chain management. The biggest issue that we are facing is that AI is not transparent. What goes behind the query is not, you cannot see it, you cannot monitor it, you can't, control the quality in terms of how the results are coming in and whether it will be consistent. In SQL query, at least I know, what is the code, who has changed it, right? If in the example, you said that, okay, what is the revenue for this particular segment last year, this week last year, right? You get a number, now you want to replicate this, you will forget in terms of what you have asked for. Why I'm not getting the same number, right? So these are some practical challenges. It will be useful because this is a layer of interaction. It will make the interaction easier, but we are slightly away. This is slightly away. This is my take.
Good. Absolutely. Fully with you on that.
I'll share my perspective on this. While AI has been there for over 2 decades now, I think we are also at a tipping point, which is this is one of the technological events that is happening: internet, cloud, and now this is the era of the AI, right? And it's been it took but less than 3 months for ChatGPT to reach 100 million users, and we're almost celebrating a year of ChatGPT in terms of how quickly things have been evolving, right? And even from Microsoft perspective, when we announced, this is our partnership with OpenAI and how things have evolving, they're evolving very, very quickly. To you answer your specific question in terms of is it just a buzzword? Not really. We are seeing, a lot of our customers leverage it across many use case scenarios, across variety of industries, right? And most importantly, even from a finance perspective, we've been, internally, we've been already have several use cases. Just to quote a few examples, for example, our investor relationship team, when they are coming out with earnings release or even analyzing competitor information. Sometimes, when you are looking at all of these, the analyst reports and competitor analysis and all, it takes hours and hours of time. Now with generative AI, they're able to summarize a lot of these things very quickly in a matter of no time. And also summarizing the information and everything, right? That's one really good example. Second thing, even our credit and collections team, in fact, earlier we used to they used to spend a lot of times, just to track and keep summarizing, going through multiple emails in terms of what are the interactions I had with this customer, what do I do next, and all of that. Now it's in a matter of seconds, they're able to drive some of these things, not just in terms of, summarizing, the status of the customer, but also even, leveraging AI to draft emails, sending out those emails to the customers, and also providing recommended actions, right? So it's already in there, it's just a matter of time in terms of how we continue to evolve this further and further.
Super. Great contrary view as well. I mean, nice to see these two diverse perspectives. So where do you get your perspective going?
Let me start by saying that EY has invested $1.4 billion already into Gen AI. So I dare not say that this is just a buzzword. So we have our own large language model at EY, and thanks to Microsoft for giving us an early access to Azure OpenAI. So we are completely invested into this, and we have various use cases which we are also looking at it internally for our finance function. And we are actually looking at the customer experience chatbots to be a super hit because the kind of assimilation which it can do in terms of reading vast knowledge domains and acting upon it. I think that's incredible. But at the same time, I would like to say that the full potential of Gen AI will take some time to realize. That there are questions around the risk management and you can say ethical and privacy concerns around it. Countries around the world are concerned about it. There has been a recent UK summit on AI safety where an international declaration has been signed that testing will be done for all large AI models before it is released to the public. So obviously, it's been taken very seriously by governments across the world, and it's definitely not a buzzword at all.
Super, great. But Mandeep, to your point, right? I mean, when you spoke about black box, there is also this feeling that explainable AI is also picking up, right? Where you can self-introspect, figure out, the system also tells you, why did I arrive at this conclusion? right? So there is also perspective between these functions to say that earlier AI was a black box, whereas the generative AI has heralded a completely different vision to say that the results that I give you, I will also explain to you why I arrived at it. This makes our fin leaders more comfortable, right? Because now you're also inferencing what has also been shown. Do you believe that that's also a good starting point for you to start building trust into what's been thrown versus earlier days?
Try telling it to auditors. Okay. Now, that's why I said that it is some time away, because the auditor will also get to know as to how to audit those outcomes coming in, right? When I say, made my comments, I should have actually made a difference between generative and AI, generative AI, and I should have also made a difference between for business and for finance, right? For business, AI has been there and will keep, improving and, keep adding value, enormous value and enormous change in models, etc. Generative AI is adding layer of, let's say, interaction over the already existing AI. For finance, I mean, we are very simple folks, right? हमें तो सिर्फ Excel चाहिए. उसके अंदर थोड़ी सी इंटेलिजेंस आ जाए तो बहुत बढ़िया. I think Microsoft is already doing that co-pilot. I'm eagerly, very excitingly, waiting for it. But इससे ज़्यादा finance वालों को नहीं चाहिए होता, right? So data queries, etc. We want certainty, predictability in what we get, rather than okay. Give you another example. Let's say an output comes from my junior to me. I don't know whether he has generated through asking a question on generative AI and how robust that question was. Then in some meeting, it could be, oh, you asked a wrong question. You should have asked this as well. Now this can happen in data queries as well. But chances of, when you democratize it, it becomes, more scalable and more frequent. And when I say this is slightly away, don't take me wrong. I'm the guy who would go for automation in each and every possible opportunity. I'm saying that the staff need to train itself, the supervisor need to train ourselves, and the auditor has to, the entire ecosystem has to train in terms of what are the boundaries, what is the reliability, and how we are making sure the quality is good.
Great. Yeah, absolutely. Rekha, so just picking up on that, right? So do you believe that infused AI is the way forward rather than large transformational capabilities that are needed, which are radically, I would say, disruptive in nature? For what Mandeep gave as an example, to say that let me infuse capabilities in an Excel sheet, which will rather improve my efficiency vis-a-vis large disruptions.
See, there are several things that are happening. The fact that we have released Copilot, it's when Microsoft across all products, we have released our Copilots, right? We have released a Copilot for Excel, M365 product, D365. Even the security Copilot is also getting released. It clearly says that, we still are in the driver's seat. The AI is actually helping us. It's a co-pilot.
It's a companion.
It's going to assist you.
Absolutely.
And in order to be a lot more efficient, a lot more productive, and to enable things, right? That's the bottom line. And to the point that our fellow panelists has made, in terms of governance, right? It's also very important, and which is why as a company we have also invested a lot in almost for many years now. Ethics and AI, super important, and we have almost like 350 people who are working on AI ethics as well. So there are boundaries, and I think it's the organizations who are developing these products who need to have this kind of governance infused in the products as well, and also holding themselves accountable. But at the same time, there's a lot of governments. In fact, the US government has come out recently, and they've released this governance in terms of what needs to be done, and how, and governments will have to play a larger role, and there are in terms of making sure that organizations are also setting those boundaries and how do we take care, right? So couple of things there in terms of yes, it has to be step by step, and we are also learning as we go through, right? And we have seen things that have happened with social media, and the last 10 years how things have evolved with social media, the goods and the bads and all of that. So we're learning And every day is an incremental learning. 3 months back, our learning with AI is very different than, where we are today.
Absolutely. So Neeraj, do you believe that responsible, reliable, and relevant for Gen AI will make it more efficient in the coming days?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt on that. And I would also like to say, like in last 2 days, if you have been following the news about deep fakes, the videos doing the round. So the pitfall
Sad
is
reality.
too grave for to ignore. So to my mind, obviously the privacy and the security concerns have to be addressed, and that is what it will take it to the next level.
From a larger adoption perspective. Great, absolutely. So maybe for paucity of time, I just want a quick closing comment from you, right? What do you believe finance function folks have to look out for here? Is it something like with guarded optimism? Is that the way forward? Or do you believe that it is protectionism? What do you think these finance function leaders in this area need to look out for?
Okay, so I'll start. So I believe Gen AI is going to be a very powerful partner for enabling the finance function and to take it to the next level. The kind of automation which it can do and the promise which it holds out, I think it will leave a lot of scope for finance to focus on the value agenda.
Agree.
And that is where I see a lot of value coming out of Gen AI, specifically for industry like ours, where it is very people intensive. So we have to say process expense sheets of say 4 lakhs in a year, or invoicing to that extent. So it is going to be a boon for companies like us.
Super, good. Quick comment from you, Rekha.
I would summarize this into 4 buckets, right? One is how it can help us become more efficient. And because today we're dealing with volumes and volumes of data. So that data, and if we actually have to derive insights from those data, how do we become more efficient? And that's where I think Gen AI is going to play a very big role. Second thing, how can we create, content creation? It could be like, developing new tools. We looked at some of the things that you have showcased in the prior session. How can we leverage this to automate things like creating JEs already, using some of the AI technology, but taking it to the next level, right? Creating those content. And third, the third bucket would be also simplifying the processes that we have. And I think, generative AI can actually do a very big, play a very big role in simplifying the processes that we currently have. And the last bucket, I would say, is recommending, any kind of actions, right? We've seen several use cases even in the insurance companies where, recommend going through the things, you don't need a lot of manual interventions there, where they actually recommend, hey, this is based on what has happened in the past. This is something, that can be, the claim can be paid, not paid, whatever, and then you require human intervention, right? So these 4 buckets, summarizing, creating content, recommending actions, simplifying process. So there's a lot that can be done, and we learn every single day.
Absolutely. Very well put, Rekha. Thanks a lot for that. Mandeep.
I think as a business, we have been always in the forefront of technology and have very sophisticated, very advanced underwriting models, even sometimes better than the insurers themselves in Policy Bazaar. For finance, I would say that we have always been guarded, have this guarded optimism about anything. What we need is upskilling at a scale and very fast pace.
Super. Yeah, upskilling or we don't become relevant here, right? Good. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate you taking some time and giving some thoughts on this. This is really helpful. I'm sure there's one end of the spectrum where there's guarded optimism, and there's another end where Microsoft, SAP are all leading with co-pilots and also companionships. Yeah, it's a great time to be in. That's the way I would love to summarize. Can't be get better. Even when internet came up, you had the evils of internet, you had the good of internet, and the good survived. And we also believe that Gen AI is also going to help us to be surviving on the best part and not worried about the evils, which will anyway exist in some form or the other. Yep. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.